So unfortunately, I couldn't find a very well put together YouTube video of this lecture, so I thought I would make it myself. So it is in the classroom, doing my very best. So for each compound here, we want to practice what we learned about our functional groups. So I want you to, 1, place a box around the functional groups. 2, you'll then circle the alkyl groups. And then 3, write the general formula for the compound. Remember, this general formula is going to help you determine which classification the compound is. And then you can go and name it. It will be very, very helpful if you have the table chart, the chart of the material we went over yesterday. So let's begin. Our first example here we have is carbons and hydrogens, and I'm looking for my functional group, but I don't see one. So if there's no functional group, then there's no alkyl group, which means a branch off the functional group. So this one all must be one of my basic hydrocarbons. And so now I'm going to look at what kind of bonding we have here, and it is all single bonding. So I already know that this is an alkane. And this works a little bit backwards, I think, when we're looking at alkanes and regular hydrocarbons. So if I were to write my general formula for an alkane, we know that is CnH2n plus 2. So what I want to do is go back and make sure I am correct. So take a second and see if that does indeed follow. Yes, it does. So this is indeed an alkane. We should be able to now classify it. Well, we did. Name the compound. So this is an alkane, 2-carbon alkane. So that would make this ethane. Let's go over to number 2. Start back at step 1. We want to place a box around the functional group. This does indeed have a functional group right here. That is the hydroxyl group. Now we want to circle our alkyl group. Now we'll do that. And that is all this carbon-hydrogen group. And we're ready to, number 3, write the general formula for the compound. So when writing the general formula, this circular group, we're going to imagine it becomes an R. And then we attach to it our functional group. So our general formula here is R connected to an OH. Do you already know what the classification is? If you said it is an alcohol, you are correct. And then you want to go back and name the alcohol and go back to your naming rules, and you'll see that it is named as the base chain or the chain. So 2-carbon chain would be F, and I always do that. Ethanol. You can't have an Al because that would be an aldehyde, and this is not an aldehyde. This is an alcohol. Some of you might want to call it 1-methanol. Do you know why that might be incorrect in this aspect? Okay. Or even 2-ethanol. It's not. And that is because there is only one location for the OH group. If you put it over here, you just have flipped the molecule. You don't have an isomer. It's the same molecule. So there's only one way to name this one, and that is ethanol. Let's look at number 3. Again, let's locate our functional group. And here it is. Place a box around that. And that is a carbonyl group, which I mistakenly yesterday called the carboxyl group. So we got to fix that. Can't be teaching you wrong things. And then we want to circle our R, or our alkyl group, which is going to become our R. So that's all this. Remember, this is the carboxyl group. You can't circle and box that carbon. That carbon belongs with the carboxyl group. So if I write the general formula here, I have an R connected to a C double O. And then we're not going to put the H there. That was just to satisfy the other half of that. So if we have R-CO, let me erase this so I have a little room. Look in your chart. I think of this as you're dead and going to heaven. Okay, maybe it's that dead person sitting up. That's what it looks like because the oxygen goes upwards. And if you're dead, you get preserved or embalmed, and that is an aldehyde. In the naming, it is a base chain naming. So this is F, because we have 2 carbons, and now, ethanol. This was ethanol, this is ethanol. How are we doing so far? I hope we're doing good. Let's look at number 4. Find our functional group. Oh, let's use purple this time. Right there. That is my carbonyl group again. I wonder how many alkyl groups this has. There's your hint. It has to. So this is one group, and this is one group. This carbonyl group breaks it up. You have 2 separate sides, or 2 separate hydrocarbon branches off of it. Excuse me. So we'll write our general formula, RCOO, R. I look at my general formula thing, and what I see is my rock, or what I call my ketone, cord, C-O-R, cord. So this is a ketone. Ketones are named with the base chain. So we have 3 carbons, so that is propanone. Propanone. We don't need to have a number here because there's only one location for this. If we were to put it over here, we wouldn't have a ketone. Do you know what we'd have? We would indeed have an aldehyde. This one's a little bit tricky, but you see this alternating bond thing here. There are no functional groups. It's all carbons and hydrogens. So again, we have a basic hydrocarbon, alternating double single bond. That is going to be an aromatic. And we didn't talk about naming aromatics other than the fact that we got this. This is the benzene ring. So we will call it methyl, because that's our methyl group right there, benzene. And we won't have a general formula for this. Sorry guys, not perfect. Number 6, see if you can do number 6 yourself, and then check yourself. Did you find out that was an alkene? Your general formula would be CnH2n. Let's name it. And it would indeed be 2-butene, because our double bond is on between the second and third carbon, and there are 4 carbons there. Remember what you did in the last section? Yes. Let's look at the next 2. See if you do that yourself and you can find the functional group. Did you find the entire carboxyl group? Yes, this is the carboxyl. Carboxyl is the double O to a C attached to another O. Circle your alkyl group. You would have 2 alkyl groups on either side of my functional group. Go ahead and write your general formula. And your general formula would be R-COOOR. and that is what I call my outstanding royal. She's got a crown and she's got a little O, and that is Miss Esther. Esther is our outstanding royal. How would you name this? This one looks a little weird because we have a methyl. Oops, no, I had it wrong. Hold on. Let's pause that and fix that. Sorry about that. I forgot that we had the 2 carbons there. I was thinking there was 1 carbon. I looked at that. So we have methyl ethanoate. The reason this is the methyl or the branch name is because that's the one attached to the oxygen. And then my base chain name is the side that's attached to my double carbon oxygen. This makes the branch name. This is the branch. Sorry, cancel that. This is the base chain name, and then this is the branch name. And one more to do on this page. Did you figure out that number 8 would be a carboxylic acid? And the name of it would be ethanoic acid. Now what I want you to do is complete the back side of the page yourself.